we will be making blackened tuna. Oh, wonderful. They've already thawed. Now we just have to get our blackening spice. And it's going to be with Orzo. Yeah, that's all I'm dicking around with tonight is Orzo blackening spice. Over and over again from Chili Pepper Madness. We are going to start making the Orzo. Up that water with what we need to have in it. So I'm going to use some of this chicken flavored bouillon. This has a little bit of an Asian flavor to it. Like not all bouillon are equal. This has a sweeter taste to it. Avocado oil. Flavor, prevents it from sticking. Although I prefer that more as a finishing oil. Ugh. Next time use grapeseed or canola. Next is chopped onions. Usually buy them at Big Lots, and these are $1, by the way. And they're not bad. Like they're seriously not bad for the money. I think I should have some open rosemary. Just go with the Italian seasoning. It will echo everything. And some ground black pepper. Some salt. GFS salt is very salty, so be very careful when you use it. And no, all salt is not created equal. Some salt are saltier than others. Go little by little, and then you can always fix it if there's too little salt, but there's nothing you can do when there's too much salt. There just isn't anything you can do. Our portion is complete. Let me taste it with my giant spoon. Nonsense one with the boiled meat. That thing burned me, but the portion is good. Get the fish ready. These I got from Kroger. If not Kroger, Aldi. They usually have the best price on them for the frozen ones. When it comes to fish, be very careful that you do not press too hard on them and collapse the cell membranes. So even as you pat them dry gently. Don't squeeze them. When it comes to spices, what you got to remember is be careful with what is the strongest and do more with what is the lightest if that's what you want to nuance in the dish. And then whatever you love the most, go bonkers. So out of everything here, for me, the strongest of all the spices is cumin. 8 of a teaspoon. Paprika, I'm gonna go with half a teaspoon of paprika. Chili powder can be overwhelming, so I'm gonna go with half a teaspoon of that too. White pepper, half a teaspoon of that. Black pepper, half a teaspoon of that too, since we love black pepper. Garlic powder or onion powder. Oregano is faint, so I'm gonna use a heaping actually teaspoon, half a teaspoon, but I'm going to release the oil. Thyme you gotta be careful with. Thyme can be pungent. So a heaping, even that's too much. So I'm just gonna do a level quarter tablespoon. That's too much. Thyme can take over, and thyme can be astringent. It can almost be acrid if you go overboard. So yeah, I prefer this. This makes me feel better. I release the oils. Spoon measuring with salt doesn't work for me, especially with salty salts. I gotta put it into the depth of my hand. Look at it. Just a little bit more. That's about it. That's it. I can always fix it, you know. I think this can do both sides generously. What was I thinking?
Hold on, wait a minute. I present to you an underdog side dish that has been often overlooked. Beet greens. Slice some of the beets and keep the beets for a salad, a gratin, or a smoothie. And find that sweet spot in between a fine chop and a rough chop so your beets won't braise into a puree nor be chunky as a ragu. In a heated pan, add half a cup of sliced bacon. Yum! It's that underdog ingredient that packs a lot of flavor for short braisers, kind of like smoked turkey wings or ham hocks for greens. Separate them thoroughly so that we can get as much fat as we can rendered out of these juicy piggies. Next is red onion. Red, okay? Not yellow, not white, red. Because white is too mild and will disappear, and yellow is too acidic and too bright and will overpower the dish. Stir very well, combine in all of that flavor it up. Salt it. Yeah, sprinkle that salt bae. Stir. Make sure you combine all of it. Break it up, get it in there into that fat, and then cover it and let it sweat. Like a lot. Like it's been running a marathon sweat. Let it sweat. Time to check on it like a controlling mercenary boss to make sure that onion is working. You know, that it's sweating like an aguero from Yaba Market. You see what I'm saying? So turn it around, stir it, combine it into those juices, and press it down and cover it up and make sure it sweats some more. You paid for that onion, it better work. You already know what's going on, so you need to check on it again to make sure that your employee is working. You know, you're a boss that has trust issues, so check it, probably with a whip in hand, to make sure that the onion is working as it should. Doesn't it look like it has sweated all of its goals and dreams into your establishment? You know, so turn it around, coat it all again into the bacon juices, into the bacon renderings, and it should be this color, semi-translucent and glossy. And it is at this point that we invite Her Grace, the Duchess of Emerald and Rubies, to the party. Give it a stir and combine it with the juices made from the underpaid labor of the bacon and onion, and then use some freshly ground pepper here. This is fine to use freshly ground pepper here because it's a short braise and won't disappear into the dish. Some garlic powder, some onion powder is good too. Now this is important. We're using sage, but there's a proper way to use sage in a braise. Please do not chop it nor shred it. The oils are too pungent and it will over perfume the dish and take over. So you do not want to put it in the dish chopped or shredded, okay? Broken up like Romeo and Juliet in big whole pieces is how we're gonna add it to this dish. And just, toss it in there and then give it a nice good stir once again to combine everything and everybody, and hopefully they'll come together in harmony, like the plan for United States was supposed to be. But it didn't work out that way now, did it? But I promise you this braise will though, because we have respected everybody's differences and recognized their potential. So we're gonna add secret to a great braise: leftover stock from your previous braise. It gives it that I have been simmering on the stove all day taste. It's your cheat code to really flavorful short braises because it packs in more flavor in such a short time, because this braise is all of maybe 20 minutes, even 30 minutes if you want to take it that long and get a more velvety taste from the grains. So you bring it up to a simmer, a brisk simmer, and taste. You have to taste again for seasoning, especially salt, to make an adjustment here so that it can seep into the greens. Let it do its thing until it turns into this color, from its previous color of Zambian emeralds to this color of Brazilian emeralds and Thai rubies. So cook's treat, yes, I have to have my treat, and yum, a piece of bacon, and then I stir it around again, taste it for salt, and it doesn't need any because from the salt added to the onions in the beginning and also from the bacon that's also salty, I don't need any more seasoning. So it's perfect like this. So try this side dish, and it can also be eaten as a main dish. Oh, on a cold day. Let's get back to cooking our fish, which is the main event for dinner after all. But look at the beet greens though. Ain't it looking delicious? Ain't it pretty?
It's already soft. And turn the heat off on that one. No cast iron anything needs roiling heat. Doesn't need it to be at full flamethrower boost. Heating up your cast iron. You can heat it up very easily between gas mark 4 and 3.